Welcome to Storytime Audio, where we bring compelling tales to life through the power of narration. In today's story, we dive into a gripping narrative of betrayal, revenge, and the devastating consequences of misplaced trust. Join us as we unfold the consequences of trust, the tale of a cheating wife and her reckless revenge. This story takes you through the tumultuous journey of John and Lily, a couple whose marriage unravels amidst accusations and retaliations. As secrets come to light and emotions run high, they both find themselves facing the harsh realities of their actions. Prepare to be captivated by this poignant tale that serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of communication, trust, and understanding in relationships. Sit back, relax, and let Storytime Audio take you on an unforgettable journey. Part 1. John returns home and confronts Lily. John walked through the front door of his beachfront home on a Saturday afternoon. He hadn't been there since the previous Monday, and all he wanted was to pick up some things and leave again. He expected his wife, Lily, to be at work. John went into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee and noticed the handcuffs and strip of duct tape still lying on the table where he had left them. The kitchen towel was still on the floor where he had thrown it after wiping his face. The video camera was still on the tripod next to the kitchen table, and the chair he had broken and knocked over was still on the floor. Instead of coffee, he opened the refrigerator and pulled out a bottle of Diet Coke. "Where the hell have you been?" Lily asked angrily, entering the kitchen. John didn't look at her and didn't answer. He walked past her into the bedroom to gather some clothes, but she grabbed his arm. "I asked you a question," she said angrily. John stopped and turned to look at her, the woman he had married 7 years ago, the woman he loved, but now the woman who had devastated him. "Let me go," he said softly. Lily looked at him. There was no expression on his face. John's eyes seemed dull and lifeless. She let go of his hand and let him pass. Lily picked up the handcuffs, duct tape, and kitchen towel, then walked over to the trash can and unceremoniously tossed them in. She walked over to the tripod and unscrewed the mounting bracket, placing the camcorder on the table, then folded the tripod and placed it next to her. Lily headed for the bedroom. John had a large open suitcase on the bed and was packing. "What are you doing, John?" she asked. "I'm packing," he answered and continued. "Another business trip?" she asked sneeringly. "No." "Then where are you headed?" John stopped and looked at her. The expression on his face was still blank. "What does it matter? You're my husband. I have a right to know." "Lily, you gave up that right last Monday afternoon." John added a few more items and closed the bag. He picked it up and carried it into the living room, set it by the door, and then headed for the study. Lily followed him. He put some papers from the desk into his briefcase and closed it, then packed the laptop and power cord into the computer bag. John walked over to the kitchen table and picked up the video camera. He opened it, finding the SD card still in place. "Is this what you recorded on Monday?" Lily smiled. "A souvenir of your payback. That's very thoughtful. Thank you." John still remained impassive. "John, damn it. Talk to me," she shouted. John looked at her, his face flashed. "What have you done to me? Why are you leaving?" she asked. "Lily, sit at the table with me." John opened his computer bag and placed the laptop on the table, then sat down in front of it. He gestured for Lily to sit next to him. Once she was seated, he inserted the SD card into the slot. "Let's have a look at this, then we'll have a conversation." John started the tape. The video showed a chair pushed away from the kitchen table on the right and an empty kitchen table on the left. "Welcome home, baby. Come on into the kitchen. I have a surprise I promised you on the phone." John appeared on the screen, smiling. Lily walked up to him dressed in a short, thin robe, her hair and makeup immaculate, and her feet bare. She held the handcuffs in her hand and smiled. "Sit down in the chair." John sat, smiling at her. Lily went behind the chair and squatted down to cuff him. Her robe fell open, hiding nothing underneath. She slid one wrist into the cuff, looped the chain through the back of the chair, then secured the other wrist. Lily stepped out of the frame, then returned a moment later and covered his mouth with a strip of duct tape. His smile was visible even with the duct tape on. She stood in front of him and dropped her robe to the floor. John's eyes widened with delight at the sight before him. "Are you ready for your surprise?" she asked, smiling. John nodded. "We're ready here," she called out. A moment later, footsteps were heard approaching them. John turned his head at the sound. A man dressed in John's robe entered the room. John's smile was replaced by an expression of shock on his face. "Honey, you remember Max from my work, don't you?" Lily walked over to Max and untied the belt on the robe, then pulled it off his shoulders and tossed it into John's lap. Max was naked under the robe. John stopped the video and looked at Lily. "Why? You know exactly why, Lily." "I don't know what the hell you're talking about." John still remained impassive. "Before we got married, I told you I'd do it." John was puzzled. "Your words didn't make any sense. What did it all mean?" "Before we got married, I told you that if you ever cheated on me, I would sleep with someone in revenge and do it right in front of you. You remember that, don't you? Is that what this is all about? This is your payback? I promised, and I delivered," she said as if nothing had happened. "You think I cheated on you? I know you cheated on me." "Okay, I'll ask. Lily, when did I ever cheat on you? Don't try that crap on me. You know exactly when, where, and with whom." John pulled out the SD card and put it in his bag. He closed the laptop and slipped it into his bag, then zipped it up. He turned to face Lily. "Either tell me what the hell you're talking about, or I'm leaving right now." "Okay, don't act innocent. While you were on this so-called business trip last week, I got a call from Steve's wife, Sarah. She told me that you and Steve spent the week in bed with a couple of women." "Sarah told you that?" "She did. What proof did she give you?" "Cut the poor victim crap, John. You know what you did. So you retaliated by sleeping with someone in front of me based on a phone call from someone I trust?" "Yeah, I did it based on her word alone. No actual proof. I didn't need any. Lily, you handcuffed me and slept with a man right in front of me, humiliated me. All based on what someone told you." "Payback. That's exactly what I did." John shook his head, still puzzled. "You didn't tell me why. You didn't talk to me about it. You decided I was guilty and deserved to be punished, and then you carried it out without any evidence at all?" "Yes. So now we're even." "Even?" "Yeah, even. Not that it matters now, but there's a couple of things I'd like to say." "Go ahead, I'm listening." "I was at a conference all last week. Steve wasn't even there. He was fired from the company 2 months ago for having an affair with the receptionist at the office, and I haven't seen him or heard from him since he left. I was a speaker at a conference. I sat at a table on stage from 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night every day of the conference. The entire week was videotaped. After the sessions, the group met daily until midnight to discuss and plan the next day. I have numerous witnesses regarding my whereabouts. I never left the hotel until I went to the airport after it was over." "So you deny it completely?" "I don't believe you. Obviously. I have proof of where I was and what I was doing the whole time, and you really have a phone call from someone who wasn't even there as proof. Sounds like a pretty lousy case to me. But I believe her. What we believe doesn't make it a fact. I believed I was married to the most wonderful, loving woman in the world. What I learned on Monday is that I am married to a flawed, evil woman who thinks so little of me that she has both physically and emotionally humiliated me without any actual evidence of any wrongdoing." Lily didn't respond. "I'm leaving now. You'll hear from my attorney in the next few days. I'm not going to divorce you. That's what this was all about. Now we're even. Lily, I didn't cheat on you. Weren't you listening? I'm not an idiot. Of course I listened. You still think what you did was justified?" "I do." "Then we have nothing more to discuss. Just bloody well call Sarah and find out what evidence she had. I'd really like to know. Though really, it doesn't matter much right now." Without another word, John walked out of the house. He went to his hotel room and burned the video onto 3 DVDs. John had already made an appointment with his attorney and went to the place where he had started the divorce proceedings. The reason for filing would be adultery. He gave a copy of the DVD to his attorney. The prenuptial agreement would be valid and supported by the evidence on the DVD. John himself handed the documents to Lily when they were filed. The attorney made suggestions on financial matters that should be taken care of immediately, and John took care of them as soon as he left the attorney's office. His cell phone was put on silent mode, and when he got to his hotel room, he checked it. The first call from Lily came in about 5 minutes after he left, then nothing was heard for about 2 hours. Calls after that came about every 5 minutes or so. He listened to only one voice message, the first one after the 2-hour break. "Oh my God, John, I finally got through to Sarah. She was drunk. Please call me. I made a mistake. Please call me." John deleted all her calls and voicemails without listening, then deleted her text messages and emails. The calls, texts, and emails continued. He reviewed the numbers as the calls came in. John also received calls from Lily's father, David, mother, Helen, and sister, Anna. He called David back. "Hey, David, it's John. I know who the hell it is. You're not the only one who can read. What the hell did you do to my daughter? I didn't do anything to her except not return her calls. Oh damn it, she's hysterical. What the hell is going on? David, if you want to know what happened, you're going to have to talk to Lily. I'm talking to you, damn it." He was angry. "You're wasting your time. Talk to her." John remained calm and civil to him. "Did you sleep with someone or something? Talk to Lily. You son of a bitch. I should come over there and kick your ass. David, listen to me. If you want to know what happened, you're going to have to find out from Lily. I'm not discussing this with you or Helen or anybody else. Talk to Lily. You bastard. You really cheated on her, didn't you? Goodbye, David." John ended the call. David called back almost immediately, but John ignored him. This was quickly followed by a call from Helen. He deleted their voicemails, then went to dinner and returned to his room for the night. Sunday morning, he bought a new cell phone but kept his old one as well. He went to his office and took an extended vacation. He also gave them his new number but asked them not to share it. When he got to the far end of town, he rented a small furnished apartment and signed a 6-month lease. John went to the grocery store for groceries and household supplies. By the end of the day, he had the apartment in order. Part 4. Final confrontation and lesson learned. Monday morning, his lawyer called. John met his attorney at the courthouse, signed the papers, and after filing, he was given a copy for Lily. Her copy did not require a signature, but the attorney told him to be sure there was an impartial witness to what she was served. John called Lily, and they arranged to meet for lunch at a restaurant they frequented. When Lily arrived, John was already waiting for her at a quiet table at the back of the room. She was dressed and made up beautifully. Lily looked well as she approached. John stood up. Lily put her arms around him, and when she tried to kiss him, he only put up his cheek. It wasn't what Lily had hoped for, and that was obvious from the look on her face. She sat down at the table facing him. "John, I've made a mistake. I want us to put it behind us and move forward." "I agree, it's time to move forward." John declined the waiter's services. It was Mia, someone they had known for a long time. "What can I get you to drink?" she asked, smiling. "2 Diet Cokes," Lily replied. "Mia, stay a minute," John asked. He reached out and took the divorce papers, then handed them to Lily. "Lily, these are the divorce papers. Mia is my witness that you have been notified." "Thank you, Mia." Lily turned pale as she looked at the papers. Mia went to get their drinks. "John, you said you wanted to put this behind you and move forward." "That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm moving forward. But, John, I made a mistake. That's not what I meant. Lily, we've been married for over 7 years. Until Monday, they were the most wonderful years of my life. I've loved you like I've never loved anyone and probably never will again. Don't throw that away, John. We have a great marriage." "It was. It won't be. Last Monday, you ruined our marriage and my love. I made a mistake. Don't you see that? Let me tell you what I see when I look at you or when I close my eyes. I see the woman I loved. I see him having her on the table in front of me and telling me how much she likes it and how much better a lover he is than I am. That's what I see now, Lily, not the woman I cared about. You killed her that day. But, John, it was all a mistake. No, it was very deliberate. The reason you did it was a mistake, not the act itself. I told you that if you cheated on me, I would have revenge sex in front of you. You knew what would happen, and you even agreed to it. Yeah, I did it knowing it would never come to that. What did I tell you would happen if you cheated on me?" Lily lowered her gaze to the table. "You said you'd divorce me. Did you agree to that?" "Yes, but I didn't cheat on you." John held out a DVD to her. "This is for you. It's a copy of your not cheating thing with Max." "John, it wasn't cheating. It was revenge. Lily, sex outside of marriage is adultery, and unless both parties agreed to it, it is considered cheating. We can work this out, John. We'll see a therapist." "No, Lily, we can't. You showed me the side of you that destroyed the woman I loved. You killed her as surely as if you'd cut out her heart, but you didn't. Instead, you ripped out my heart. I don't want a divorce. I will fight you. On Monday, you showed me a different side of you. I have another side too. You don't want to see it." "What other side?" The side where I become as vicious, indifferent, and evil as you were on Monday. I will not use a mistake as an excuse. I will take full responsibility for what I do. That's not who you are, and you know it. That's funny. I was thinking the same thing about you. Damn it, John, this was a mistake. No, it was a deliberate act of revenge. What did you tell your parents? I told them we had a falling out and that we'd work it out. A fight about what? Lily looked down at the table and said nothing. About what, Lily? I told them you were having an affair. You never told them the truth? No. Why not? They wouldn't understand. Understand what? They wouldn't realize it was a mistake. Maybe I'm finally getting it. Lily, I know what I did to you was wrong. I based it more on judgment than fact. I know I hurt you deeply, but we can get past this. We can rebuild our marriage. We can put this behind us. Okay, we'll put this marriage behind us. The woman I loved no longer exists. I will fight you every step of the way. I'm saving our marriage. There's nothing to save. It's over. Don't make me reveal my other side. You won't like it. You're bluffing. Don't push it, Lily. Get a lawyer. Ask them to review the petition. Ask them to contact my lawyer if you have any questions. You'll be single and you can have as much Max as you want in 90 days. This has nothing to do with Max. I'm sorry, that was rude of me. I apologize. I'm not leaving you, Lily. You already have. The settlement is fair. Accept it and move on. No way in hell. Mia brought them food. John handed her his credit card. She walked away and returned a moment later with a check for his signature. John signed it, then stood up. He still hadn't touched his food. Enjoy your meal, Lily. I lost my appetite last Monday when you spit on me. John left and went to his house. On Tuesday, Lily met with her lawyer for the first time. She was a tough nut to crack, who was recommended by a friend. Have a seat, Mrs. Blake. I'm Karen Blake. What can I do for you? My husband is trying to divorce me. Has he served you with papers? She asked. Last Friday. May I see the papers? Lily held out the papers to her. Karen looked at the first page. He's citing adultery. Is that true? No, it was a misunderstanding. You had sex with someone other than your husband? Yes, but it was a mistake. Did your husband consent to you having sex with another person? Not specifically with this person, but he agreed to me having sex in retaliation if he cheated on me. So your husband cheated on you, and you had revenge sex? Well, yes and no. Mrs. Blake, could you please clarify that for me? I did have revenge sex, but then I found out he wasn't cheating on me. Your husband wasn't cheating, but you still had revenge sex? I did. Mrs. Blake, it's called adultery. But I thought he was cheating. What proof did you have? A friend told me he did it. But apparently your friend was wrong? Yes. Finally, someone who sees that it was a mistake. Mrs. Blake, based on what you've told me, I'm dating a woman who had revenge sex with her husband based on hearsay evidence. Does he have proof that you had sex with another man? Yes, I handcuffed him to a chair and made him watch. Then it's his word against yours. Is there any real evidence? I videotaped the whole thing. Do you have a copy of that video? Lily held out the DVD that John had given her on Friday. Can I watch it? Lily nodded. Karen put the DVD into the player, and after watching only a few minutes, she stopped it. I'll need to watch the whole thing, but I can do that later. Let me familiarize myself with the petition first. She began to read it. After a few minutes, after flipping through a few pages, Karen looked up. I see that you signed a prenuptial agreement, and at first glance, he seems pretty solid when it comes to adultery. If he changes the wording of the complaint to irreconcilable differences, we can avoid that part. I suspect that will be a difficult task. Even with the prenup, he is offering you considerably more than the law requires. Without a prenup, you will likely be able to get a significantly larger cash payment. I don't want a cash payout, nor do I want a divorce. I want my husband back. You told him that? Yeah, he didn't even think about it. Contested divorces can be very expensive for everyone involved. If we get counseling, it can't hurt. Then let's do it. We can seek counseling and let him know that if he refuses, we'll fight for everything. Okay. Do you have any dirt on your husband? You mean criminal stuff? Anything. He's as spotlessly clean as can be. Has he ever hit you or threatened you? He never even raised his voice to me. I'll sort through the paperwork very carefully, watch the video, and get back to you in a day or two. Does he have a copy of that DVD? Lily nodded. It was Thursday when Karen called her. Mrs. Blake, he has a pretty solid case. The video you recorded is very damaging, and you don't want any judge to see it. Let's start with what we've been discussing. We're going to offer 6 weeks of family counseling. Whatever it takes. I want my husband back." 2 days later, John's lawyer called him and asked him to come in. He went to the office that afternoon. "John, they've requested 6 weeks of couples counseling. What if I say no? They'll do everything they can to fight us. I'm against it. What do you think?" "She hired Karen Blake. She's one of the best." "Better than you?" "I'm the very best. You ready to fight tooth and nail?" "If I have to. Then let's just say no and see what happens. Keep me posted." That night, John called Lily. "Lily, I've given up counseling. I told you that if you argue with me about it, you'll see another side of me that you won't like. Why are you acting like this? Just stop this crazy divorce and come home." "Lily, that's not going to happen. This is your last chance to get off easy. I won't call you anymore. I'm fighting you, John. I don't want a divorce. Have it your way." John ended the call. The following Monday, Lily filed a countersuit. The grounds were irreconcilable differences. She asked for everything. 2 days later, the local school board and the school where Lily worked were served with documents alleging relationship violations between their 2 married teachers, Lily Blake and Max Carr. Attached to the package were graphic photos of the 2 having sex. An emergency closed-door school board meeting was called, and both were fired that same day. That same day, Max's wife, Laura, received a DVD in the mail with the names and phone numbers of those in the video. She called John after watching the video. "Hi, this is John Blake. This is Laura Carr, Max's wife. Did you send me that DVD?" "Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, but I thought you had a right to know." "When was this made?" "A week ago Sunday at my house." "Is that you sitting in the chair?" "Yes, and the video's real." "Totally. It's not edited?" "No, it's not edited." "Is this woman your wife?" "For the moment. I filed for divorce. That's all I needed to know. I'm sorry to bother you." Laura hung up. Laura's next call was to a divorce attorney. The next day, Max called Lily and reprimanded her for exposing him with her act of revenge and costing him his job and possibly his marriage. Even after losing her job and Max's call, Lily didn't give up. When another week passed with no word from John or his lawyer, John took his next step. Lily's parents and sister received a copy of the DVD in the mail. After a very brief introduction to the video, they began asking Lily questions and reprimanding her. John's old cell phone rang. He answered Anna's call. "How could you, John? Lily loves you. Anna, she has a strange way of showing it. It was revenge sex, for God's sake. So she still hasn't told you the truth?" "What the hell is the truth, Anna? I wasn't having an affair. She got a call from a friend who said I did. She took it as truth, and without any proof, this was her revenge." "John, Lily's not that stupid." "Well, ask her yourself. Let her know that if she lets the divorce go through and stops fighting it, that's the end of it. If she keeps going, that's just the beginning. Can't you deal with this? Have you watched the DVD? Just the beginning. That's all I could digest. Observe all of this and then ask yourself if your husband is willing to try to reconcile. Would you do that?" "I will, but I still think you should at least try to work it out. Anna, you've known me since we were kids. You know I'm not a bad guy. Watch the DVD." "Okay, I will." Anna hung up the phone. About an hour later, she called back. "Oh, John, I'm so sorry. I understand now, but I still need to talk to Lily. Let her know that if she stops fighting the divorce, this will be the end of it. If she fights me, it's only going to get worse. I'll tell her." Anna went to see Lily in person, and after getting confirmation that John was telling the truth, relayed his warning. Lily was adamant in her refusal. Anna then went and told her parents about what Lily had done and how John insisted that she drop the countersuit. Lily's parents visited her that night and got copies of both documents. David had a family friend who was an attorney who reviewed the document and the prenup. His recommendation was that Lily do exactly what John said and quietly take the matter to divorce court. Lily still refused to relent. After another week without a word from his attorney, John took the next step. Lily taught Sunday school at the same church her parents attended. Every member of the women's auxiliary and the ministers of the church received a flyer in the mail that had pictures of Lily having sex with a man who was not her husband. The caption read, "Should this woman be teaching your children on Sunday?" Lily's parents were treated more like lepers than parishioners after the service. The pastor took them aside for a private conversation and explained why. He also gave them a letter for Lily, informing them that her services would no longer be needed or even welcomed. A copy of the flyer was enclosed. When they gave it to Lily, she cried but still refused to drop her counterclaim. Lily told her lawyer what John had done. Telling and showing her family was not a crime. This was clearly evident in the DVD, where Lily told John that she made the tape for him. Since it was his property, he could share it with any adult he wanted to. The flyers were sent out anonymously, so without a thorough investigation, they could not be traced back to John. Karen recommended that she drop her countersuit. Lily's family begged her to drop it. It was now affecting their lives. David called John and shared his concerns. John repeated his demand to David. Still, Lily insisted. A few days later, Lily's neighbors and all their friends received similar flyers signed only with Lily's name and contact information. Lily's phone and email exploded with nuisance calls and messages. Trash was dumped on her car, driveway, and lawn. John waited another week before posting on her social media accounts. It started with innuendos, then progressed to photos with blackouts strategically placed in all the right places. A few days later, Lily received an email from a porn site thanking her for the video. When a news crew showed up at her door, she finally called her lawyer and withdrew the countersuit. She asked for a meeting between her and John. John agreed on the condition that it be done at his attorney's office. They met a few days later. Lily looked like a shadow of her former self. She had lost weight and, judging by her appearance, was also sleep-deprived. Lily, John said, sitting down at the table across from her. "I've dropped the countersuit. You won." "No, Lily, I lost. I lost the woman I loved. I lost my marriage. I lost everything that was important to me. There really is a side of you that I've never seen. I'm sorry you had to see it, John. I don't know what to say. I can't show my face anywhere. I'd have to leave even to get a job. I can't stay here either. Everyone we've ever known treats me like a leper too. We've both lost everything, haven't we?" "Yes, Lily, we did." John's eyes were on the verge of tears. "I know it's too late now, but is there anything I can do to undo what I've done? Besides figuring out how to turn back time?" "Yeah, besides that, I don't think so, Lily." John stood up, getting ready to leave. Lily stood up and held out her arms for one last hug. Tears were streaming down her cheeks. John took a step toward her, then stopped. Tears ran down his cheeks. "I can't, Lily. I'd feel like I was cheating on the woman I loved." He stood looking at her for a moment, then turned and headed for the door. When his hand touched the doorknob, he turned to her again. "There is one thing that might help." "What, John?" "Just once, you could say, 'I'm sorry.' Just once." John walked out of the office and out of her life. Lesson learned. In the end, both John and Lily lost everything they had built together over 7 years of marriage due to a lack of communication and trust. Lily's impulsive and vengeful actions, based on unfounded accusations, not only destroyed their relationship but also left a trail of devastation in their personal and professional lives. This story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of trust, communication, and seeking the truth before taking drastic actions. It also highlights the destructive power of revenge and the importance of seeking resolution and understanding rather than resorting to harmful retaliation. Key takeaways. Communication is crucial. Always talk through issues and misunderstandings in a relationship before jumping to conclusions or taking actions. Trust is fundamental. A strong relationship is built on trust. Without it, misunderstandings can lead to irreversible damage. Seek proof, not assumptions. Decisions based on assumptions and hearsay can lead to regretful actions. Always seek concrete proof before acting. Avoid revenge. Revenge may seem satisfying in the moment, but it often leads to more pain and suffering for all involved. Apologize and forgive. Admitting mistakes and seeking forgiveness can pave the way for healing, even if the relationship cannot be salvaged. This story not only captivates with its dramatic twists but also leaves viewers with valuable lessons on maintaining healthy and respectful relationships. Thank you for joining us on Storytime Audio for The Consequences of Trust, the tale of a cheating wife and her reckless revenge. This story has taken us through a heart-wrenching journey of love, betrayal, and the devastating impact of revenge. As we reflect on John and Lily's story, we're reminded of the critical importance of trust and communication in any relationship. Their tale serves as a powerful lesson on the dangers of acting on assumptions and the irreversible damage that can be caused by revenge. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on the lessons learned from John and Lily's experience. Don't forget to subscribe to Storytime Audio and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more captivating stories like this one. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time with another engaging tale.